Welcome back to Daily Harmony, our journey through A Course in Miracles.
It's great to be back with you.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into Lesson 127.
There is no love but God's.
Ooh, that's a powerful one, isn't it?
It is, and I think it might even sound a little, well, extreme at first.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe even a little bit scary, you know?
Right, because we think we know what love is, right?
Right.
Like we have all these experiences, all these relationships, all these feelings that we label love.
Exactly. And this lesson is coming in and kind of shaking things up, challenging that whole framework.
Absolutely. Now, before we go too far, I think it's helpful to kind of remember where we've been in the course.
Yeah, good idea.
You know, we've been looking at all these illusions, these mental blocks, these misperceptions that keep us from experiencing true inner peace, right?
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of like mental house cleaning, you know?
Exactly. It's like we've been wiping away dust and grime from a window to see more clearly.
And this lesson, lesson 127, it's like a really powerful swipe at that window.
Right. And it's specifically targeting how we see and experience love.
Because the way we usually think about love, it can be pretty messy.
Oh, yeah. Full of conditions, expectations, disappointments.
Right. So this statement, there is no love but God's, it's pointing to a whole different level of love.
A love that's not about ifs and buts, not about what we do or don't deserve.
Exactly. It's about recognizing a love that's already there, always present, completely unconditional.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but honestly a little lost too. Can we break this down a bit more?
Of course.
Yeah.
So let's start with this idea of God's love.
All right, God's love. What makes it so different from the love we're used to?
Well, the Kaiser describes God's love as pure, perfect, unchanging.
Unchanging. Okay.
It doesn't depend on anything we do or don't do.
It just is.
Just is. It's this constant, unwavering source of acceptance and connection.
That's pretty different from how we usually approach love, right? I mean, so often it's like, I love you if you do this, or I love you because of that.
Exactly. And that's where all those conditions and expectations creep in.
Right. And those conditions, they can really cause problems in our relationships, can't they?
Absolutely. They lead to misunderstandings, resentments, conflicts.
Because we're always trying to control things, trying to make sure we get the love we think we need, right?
Yeah, and that's where the ego comes in.
Ah, the ego, our old friend.
The ego thrives on separation. It tells us we're not enough, that we need something outside of ourselves to be complete, to be worthy of love.
So it's constantly looking for love in all the wrong places.
It is. And it's always looking for love with conditions. It's a love that can be lost if we don't meet certain standards.
Okay, so then this divine love, this unconditional love, it's about recognizing that we're already whole, already worthy, already loved just as we are.
Precisely. It's about connecting with that deeper truth, the truth that we are part of something much bigger than ourselves, a love that's always there, supporting us, embracing us.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. But there's still this part of me that's like, wait a minute, does that mean that the love I feel for my family, my friends, it's not real?
It's not that those feelings aren't real, it's more that they're often filtered through our limited perception, through our ego's fears and insecurities.
So, like, they're glimpses of true love, but maybe a little bit distorted, a little bit clouded.
That's a great way to put it. Imagine a light shining through a stained glass window. The light itself is pure and white, but the colors we see depend on the glass it passes through.
Okay, I like that analogy. So the divine love is like the pure light, and our human experiences of love are like the different colors, all originating from the same source, but maybe not always showing the full spectrum.
Exactly. And recognizing this can be really helpful when we're facing challenges in our relationships.
Well, think about it. When we're feeling hurt or angry with someone, it's often because our expectations haven't been met.
Oh, absolutely.
We're feeling unloved because the other person isn't acting the way we think they should.
Right, right.
But if we can step back and remember that everyone, including ourselves, is acting from a place of wanting to be loved, wanting to feel connected, it can shift our perspective.
It takes the focus away from blame and judgment and opens up space for understanding and compassion.
Exactly. And forgiveness becomes more accessible.
Forgiveness, yeah, that can be a tough one.
It can be, but when we realize that everyone is essentially doing the best they can with the understanding they have, it becomes easier to let go of resentment and anger.
So it's not about condoning hurtful actions, it's about recognizing the shared humanity, the shared longing for love that connects us all.
Precisely. And that brings us to another important aspect of this lesson: self-love.
Ah, yes, self-love, something so many of us struggle with.
It is. But this lesson challenges us to think about self-love in a new way.
Okay, I'm all ears. So often, our self-esteem is based on external things, on our achievements, our appearance, what others think of us.
It's like we're constantly trying to prove our worth.
Exactly. And that's a very conditional kind of love. It leaves us feeling insecure and never quite good enough.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
But lesson 127 invites us to find our worth in something much deeper, in our connection to divine love.
So it's about recognizing that we are inherently worthy of love simply because we exist, because we are part of this universal love.
Exactly. And that kind of self-love is unshakable. It doesn't depend on anything external that can change or be taken away.
That's such a powerful idea. But how do we actually start to live this? It's one thing to understand it intellectually, but how do we integrate this into our everyday experience?
Well, the Keras, as always, gives us some practical tools.
Like what?
One simple but powerful practice is to spend some time each day meditating on the phrase, there is no love but God's.
Just letting those words sink in, really feeling their truth.
Exactly. And as you meditate, you can also bring to mind any relationships or situations that are causing you stress or pain.
Oh,
And see if you can gently release any fear or judgment you're holding on to.
it's like we're retraining our minds to see things through the lens of unconditional love.
Precisely. Another helpful practice is journaling.
Ah, journaling, always a good one.
Take some time to reflect on a recent situation where you felt love that felt conditional, love that came with strings attached.
Like when I got upset because my friend didn't call me back when I expected them to.
Exactly. And then ask yourself, what would change in my feelings or actions if I truly believe there is no love but God's?
That's a really interesting question. It makes me think about how I might have responded differently if I hadn't been so attached to my own expectations.
Right. It's about recognizing that maybe the other person wasn't acting out of malice or indifference, but simply from their own level of understanding.
And maybe, just maybe, I could have offered them a little more grace and compassion.
Exactly. By practicing these exercises, we slowly start to shift our perception, to see beyond the ego's limited view of love and connect with that deeper, more profound truth.
It's a journey, isn't it? This process of unlearning old patterns and embracing a new way of seeing love.
It is a journey, but even small steps in the right direction can make a huge difference in our experience of ourselves and our relationships.
Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into Lesson 127. It's definitely given me a lot to think about and some practical tools to work with.
It's a lesson that can really change our lives if we let it.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with a powerful question to ponder. What would it truly mean to live every moment from a place where unconditional love is the only reality we acknowledge?
That's a beautiful question to carry with us as we continue our journey with A Course in Miracles.
It is. And as always, thank you for joining us for this exploration. We hope this deep dive has been helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And we'll see you tomorrow for another step on this path of inner peace.
See you then.